Hello, everybody, and welcome to the 11 p.m. update for what is Tropical Depression Cristobal. Um, it's still keeping on, keeping on. It still has 35 miles per hour winds. The pressure is now up to 1,000 millibars. It is located at 17.8 north, 90.4 west, and it's now moving east at 3 miles an hour. We're gonna see how far east it goes before it makes that northward turn. Because yeah, as I'm going to show you guys later, it isn't favorable up here. The favorability is right in here and right in here. So if this gets far enough east into this area before it starts going north, then that's bad news. So we just gotta wait and see what happens with this overnight tonight and into tomorrow, as we look forward to where this thing is going. All right. The 11 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time advisory is out, and it's moving east or at 90 degrees at 3 miles an hour. So far, there's no watches and warnings. Says it's gonna stay over land for another day and a half, maybe. Here's all your rainfall totals and stuff, and some people are getting 35, maybe 40 inches of rain out of this. And now that we have no watches and warnings available with this system, we're going to be getting updates every 6 hours now. So the next complete advisory is going to be at 5 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time or 4 a.m. Central Daylight Time. Let's take a look at the forecast discussion here. This will give you all the informations, keys to the game, so to speak. Heavy rainfall will spread into portions of the Gulf Coast from East Texas to Florida this weekend into early next week, with areas of flash flooding possible. Cristobal is forecast to reemerge over the southern Gulf of Mexico on Friday and move northward over the central and northern Gulf of Mexico over the weekend. There is a risk of tropical storm force winds this weekend from Louisiana to western Florida Panhandle, and the risk of dangerous storm surge from Louisiana to Florida's Big Bend. So yeah, we gotta really pay attention to this no matter what it turns into. So as this says right here, it is expected to be on land for the next 24 hours maybe. Near the coast can either mean on the water or just just on shore. So I'm gonna go with 12 to 24 hours. It might be on land. And then it only has about 36 or so hours to be on the Gulf of Mexico here to really try and organize here. And the National Hurricane Center is still going with a 60-mile-per-hour storm, which me personally, I'm going with 65, 70, but we're gonna see what happens from this point on. Here is the new updated cone here. And as you can see, this is all squiggly now. It wasn't like that earlier. And it looks like a little bit of a bend to the west is a possibility here as time goes on. And I think it's going to interact with the ridge of high pressure. As high pressures, they go this way. So it's going to want to go with the flow of the ridge of high pressure. So that's automatically going to switch it back to the west a little bit as it goes around the ridge. Let's see here. We don't want to look at anything else there. All right, we're gonna look at our models here, and this is the GFS model. As you can see, there is no pressure gradient here. It's just a very elongated, closed isobars. It's really not looking good at all from the GFS perspective. But we're gonna keep going here. Yeah, see, there's that bend to the west, and it's gonna go probably right into New Orleans on Monday, really early Monday morning. It's a very, very strong tropical storm, and as we go out and through time, it doesn't really lose all that much energy and power. It's still a tropical storm all the way up through Missouri and maybe even Illinois as it gets dragged off by a front that's coming in and gets absorbed with it. So that's what the GFS has to show. What about the European model? The European model has this pretty far inland near Guatemala, and as you guys know, in Guatemala there are mountains in that area. So this storm got really close to these mountains, and we're lucky, we're lucky and unlucky that this storm hasn't dissipated altogether because it's so close to the mountains. So let's go throughout time here. This is 48 hours out, and you can see it takes a really good west turn. It takes a west and goes back east, and then goes back west. That is a very weird line, guys. That's super weird. And it looks like it's going to be making landfall on western Louisiana in about 96 hours from now. And it's the same with this too. Once it goes inland, it's not going to die down quickly. It's still going to be a tropical storm once it gets into the Arkansas and Oklahoma area. So we're talking about a system that once it goes inland, it's not gonna slow down. The winds are gonna die down at some point, but they're gonna take a lot longer than normal for them to die down. And it's pretty much the same with the GFS. It gets absorbed with a front that's coming in, and goes out. Here is the Canadian model, and as you can see, the Canadian model doesn't really show anything. it just looks like a dust particle in the wind, so to speak. It's just not showing anything. But as we go out through the next 24, 36 hours, the pressure starts to come back a little bit. And it's a really weak tropical storm as it makes landfall in the Louisiana, Mississippi area. And this dies down pretty quick according to the CMC model, and just turns into a big blob of just showers and thunderstorms. Just your typical everyday shower and thunderstorm activity that you all are used to seeing at the 120 mark. Here is the icon model, and as you can see, this isn't exactly right. This is nowhere near right. It's way farther inland than this. So the icon has it coming off the very tip of the northwest Yucatan, and starting to make its northward ascent as probably a Category 1 hurricane going into the western part of Louisiana come 90 hours from now. Whether this happens, we're just gonna have to wait and find out. I do believe that a new center is trying to form on this system that the NHC is not pinpointing for some reason, and then I hear a few people talking about this as well. It looks like a new center is starting to form on the system, but I don't know if we're gonna have to wait until the 5 a.m. update to see if the National Hurricane Center is actually pinpointing if this is actually creating a new center circulation. If there is a new center of circulation going that is farther north or east, it's probably going to become a hurricane. So the icon may win out on this one if that new circulation is a thing come tomorrow morning. And we're going to go out through time, and it's pretty much the same deal as the European, the GFS. It doesn't weaken. It weakens slowly over land, and we're talking about tropical storm status in Arkansas if this comes to fruition. And just like the GFS and the European, it's going to get sucked up by a frontal system here as time goes by. Alright, we are going to look at the wind shear here, and as you can see, our system is right in here in the greens and yellows, so it's kind of in the favorable neutral zone here. As we go out through time, this is probably gonna die down a little bit. We're probably gonna be seeing like 25 knots right in here. So this is ultimately gonna cause some of the what's the word I want to use? It's gonna slow down any process of strengthening. I mean, it is gonna strengthen, but not as quickly with these warm waters than we expect it to be, because the wind shear is gonna start blowing these thunderstorm tops to the left, to the north and east, as it's already doing, because Florida has already seen a ton of rain in the last 2 days because of the wind shearing of the storms from Cristobal. Some of us in Florida have seen like 10 inches of rain already, so we're probably going to be seeing a lot more rain, probably another 5 to 7 inches of rain before it's all said and done here. But as for the storm itself, we're going to see this start to track a little bit north and east as time goes by, and it's going to be going into these unfavorable wind field patterns, and it's going to start blowing thunderstorm tops off. We don't want to go there yet. Here is the moisture field here, and as you can see, this storm is definitely in a lot of moist, area here. We can see this dry air coming in to the west here, and this will start to creep in on the storm as time goes by, and this is going to be another factor that's going to slow down strengthening a little bit. Is this dry air is going to start getting entrained inside the center of circulation, and it's going to cut off its flow, so to speak, and it's beginning. Some of the models are showing it becoming like a subtropical kind of storm looking thing as we go farther in time. But that is only some models that have that happening here. But as you can see, there's plenty of moist air for this to really kick into, and until this dry air really comes in, there's nothing really stopping it besides the wind shear to strengthen it a little bit farther. And as I was speaking about earlier, some models have it coming up and over here, and as you can see, the green means highly unfavorable. So if it goes here, it may not strengthen as quickly as, say, it's in like these red spots right here or right here, or the oranges and yellows, and so to speak. Yeah, my idea is here, if it is really forming that new low level center, I think it's going to start going a little bit more east than people are expecting it to. So, that's, as I said, it's going to be interesting to see, how the evolution of the storm actually takes place. But, either way, if it goes north or it goes east, it's going to strengthen. So, if it goes east like this way and then heads north, then that's definitely Hurricane City for somebody. Now, if it goes this way, up the north of the Yucatan, that's going to be a strong tropical storm for people up here. So as I said, we're just gonna have to wait and see what the evolution of the storm actually is, and we just have to keep our eyes to TV, or you can tune into me, because I'm gonna have at least 2 updates a day, and we'll make it through every storm this season together, because I love doing this. I love keeping you guys informed, and we're gonna grow as a family, hopefully sometime soon. I want to show up one more thing, and this doesn't really have anything to do with Cristobal, so to speak. We're going to take a look at the 40-day forecast here. As you can see, the green here is upward motion, and the browns and the oranges here are downward motion. As you know, the hurricanes, tropical storms, tropical depressions, they all love upward motion. And as you can see here, we have little specks of green here but mostly in neutral. So, you know, that's good enough for some tropical development. But as time goes on, here at about day 5, day 10, day 15, we're gonna start getting that orange in here, and that's gonna stop, you know, that's gonna decrease the chances for tropical development in that 15-day time period. But as we get into day 20 and beyond, for the next 5, 10, 15, 20, you know, 20 days here, you know, it's all greenlit. So this is gonna be, you know, it's time to pay attention anywhere from the June 20th to July 14th. That is when we're most likely going to be seeing our next tropical system, if not 2 tropical systems, in my opinion. So once we get past Cristobal, you know, we might have a chance somewhere, you know, somewhere between this day and that day here in this region. But after that, we're gonna have to wait like 15 more days, maybe 10, 15, before we start getting favorable again. Anyways, I want to thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys again tomorrow morning with a new update.